So Hoyo just announced a brand new Endgame Mode, which is quite literally an Endgame Mode for Endgame Modes. No, I'm not kidding. Anomaly Arbitration, Jesus Christ, what is this name, is the newest Endgame Mode coming in 3.6, and the prerequisite in order to be able to challenge this mode is having cleared MOC, Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow. This mode requires you to challenge 3 hard bosses, for which you need to use separate teams. So in order to clear all 3 bosses, you need 3 different teams, which already becomes a bit problematic when every team wants to use the same 2 supports. It seems like these are the true Ceridra buffs we were waiting for. Once you beat all 3 stages, you unlock the last super hidden stage with an even harder boss. You can also beat the boss directly, according to leaks, which will result in a super difficult fight. Now, according to the leaks, the final boss fight is so difficult if you skip the 3 stages before, that you need a 48 cost team to be able to do it. In case you don't know, 48 cost essentially just means a full team of limited E6 S5 5-star units. The rewards are basically meant not to be jades, but instead skins, profile decoration, and some level rewards. And it's actually not meant for casual players, but tryhards who also whale. If you watched my video where I talked about the issues of HSR and how I would fix them, which you probably didn't, I essentially talked about how we just don't have content in the game and that there isn't any mode where you can truly test out your teams. My solution was actually quite similar to Hoyo. You should really check that video out if you're interested. Basically, design hologram bosses like in Woover by taking Apocalyptic Shadow bosses, make their mechanics a tad more interactive, and reward good strategic play over just playing a meta team and not thinking at all. And we kinda got that with this mode, except that it will probably be way worse. You see, my core idea was basically to make those bosses one-shot you, like a hologram boss, and be super tanky, and have their mechanics give you the survivability and the damage. For example, Aventurine Dice Toss giving you a massive shield that lets you survive, and so to speak, forcing you to not really care about your team that much, but way more about the boss mechanic and think how to strategically abuse it. It was essentially a turn-based raid boss, and you needed to understand and play around the mechanics to win. Now, we are instead getting a boss that you need to zero cycle. So instead of interaction, I assume that this mode will basically just be a massive HP blob where you need Eidolons to even be able to scratch them. Leaks confirm my theory by leakers saying not to doompost because the mode is clearly made for whales and doesn't give jades anyways. And that basically no casuals will be able to clear this. Now, while I personally want to refrain from giving my opinion before I have played this mode myself, I do think that this mode will substantially change the future of Honkai Star Rail, either positively or negatively. Needing to have 3 teams is already incredibly rough for a free-to-play player, and it does make me wonder how this mode will change the future designs of characters when most teams basically already fight for the same few supports. And not only do you need 3 teams, but you need 3 strong and functional teams, preferably with like E2 Eidolon investment. Leakers also state that you will need to actively use the current meta teams to be able to compete in this mode. I don't mind, and I think that if you feel FOMO because of avatars or decoration, that's honestly a red flag. But I still, in general, just hate the concept of this event sounding not like a play good event, but a spend more event, which is the complete opposite of, for example, Wuva's Virtual Crisis, where, of course, if you aren't good enough, you can just swipe and clear it. But you can also get through it with pure skill and determination. And that just feels great. In this case, you literally just need to brainlessly deal enormous amounts of damage, because you need to zero cycle a massive damage sponge, which I guess is fun for hyper whales who can fully use their E6 Phynon and deal tens of millions of damage, but I think it's lame, and I'm saying that as someone who has these hyper invested units. My idea was attempting to push this game back to its strategic gameplay. But this mode sounds like it's pushing it even more to becoming a team build simulator where you don't need to think about the game at all during the fights. But as I said, I don't want to make any assumptions before I haven't played and tested it myself. And you can expect a full review of me once it drops, because I will be using both normal teams and E6 teams. But yeah, I just saw Hoyo drop this today and I felt like talking about it. Please share your thoughts, wishes and concerns about this mode in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.